Hello viewers, this is SUNASTRO. SUNASTRO combined Vedic and KP astrology to provide astrological consultation. In today's video, we'll understand what are the yogas that makes a person very famous, or especially how to see fame in astrology. Now, first, this is a person who is very famous South Indian actor, and we have analyzed his chart and we understand that what are the yogas that makes him so famous and so popular among masses. So now let's understand that his Lagna chart. In the first house of the Lagna chart, we see Venus is sitting in its own sign. So this makes the Lagna very strong. And also Venus is sitting in its own sign. So we understand that this person is very good looking and he'll be interested in Venus related career. So now if you see in the 10th house, we see Rahu is sitting in the 10th house. Whenever Rahu sits in the 10th house, it will make the person very famous, or it will become a leader, or it will be always among the people. So more or less, he'll be a leader, and that's very sure. And again, we see that Mars is sitting in the 10th house. So Mars is giving all the charm that you need in this business of cinema. Now, if you see Sun again is sitting in the 11th house in his own sign. So there are, if you check the 12th house also, we see Mercury sitting in its own sign in the 12th house. We have a lot of combinations that clearly indicates that this person will be a big leader or a very famous person. Then in the Vamsha chart, if you see Jupiter sitting in the first house, and the seventh and the 10th lord is Jupiter, and the Kendra house is going in the Kendra itself. So this makes a chart very strong. Now, if you see Rahu sitting in the third house, which makes a person very rich, whenever Rahu sits in the third house, it makes the person very tremendous rich. Now, if you see that fifth house, we see that again Venus is sitting in his own sign, along with Moon, Sun, and Mars. So all this is giving him the charm that he need in the film industry for success, and all this is also making him very famous and popular among masses. Now, if you see at the subject chart in the first house itself, we see that Moon is sitting in its own sign in the first house. So now Moon sits in the first house, this makes the person uh, very popular, very famous, and Moon is sitting in its own sign. So this is definitely this person will be a leader among masses, and people will die for him. I mean, that kind of praise people will have for him. So he's a very famous person in the South India. Now, if you see that in the 10th house, here also we see that Rahu is sitting in the sign of Aries. So this is also making a person very famous. And now again, if we see the fourth house, we see that in the exact opposite of Rahu, Venus is sitting, and Venus is sitting in its own sign. So Venus, Mercury, Saturn is sitting together, and that too, Venus is sitting in its own sign, exact opposite of Rahu. So whenever Venus Rahu combines in any way, it will make the person very famous, very popular. Now, if you see the KP chart, in the KP chart, we see that the seventh sign, I mean, the Libra is rising in the first house itself, and Sun is sitting in the 10th house. So, Sun will give him the strength that he needs to become successful. And again, if you see that Venus is sitting in the 12th house, and Venus, whenever sits in the 12th house, that will give a person a lot of luxuries. Now, if you see the cuspal position, in the cuspal position, we see that the 10th sublord is Jupiter. And if you see the 5th sublord is Moon. So, Moon definitely, whenever Moon becomes a 5th sublord, it will make the person very